Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Molly Merseal. Molly is the owner at Molly May Productions. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Molly Merseal. Molly, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Um, yeah, I went to a school in my area called the Broadcast Center. I graduated from there in 2005 and got certified in audio production and video production and announcing. Worked in radio for a little while. The industry's pretty cutthroat. I got out of it for a while, and then a few years ago, I downloaded my first audiobook, and while I was listening to it, I thought, I wonder if this is something I could do, given the skills that I had from the Broadcast Center. So I looked into it. I did a whole bunch of research. I read articles. I, looked up YouTube videos, and it turns out that, anyone can do this. And on top of that, you could do it from the comfort of your own home. So I did more research into gear, equipment, software, and websites to get onto, and started making money.
Wonderful. Yeah. What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
Oh, man. So the first mistake to avoid, in my opinion, is not doing enough research. You have to stay on top of your game, and this industry is constantly evolving and constantly changing. I mean, back in the day, everyone wanted the grand announcer voice, and nowadays everyone wants the conversational, friend next door, which is a huge difference. So if you don't adapt and change with that, you're going to get left behind. So constantly educate yourself and learn, and learn what people are looking for. Mistake number 2 is invest in yourself. I've had to upgrade my software, my editing software, and all my gear. And it's all changed since I graduated in 2005. So I've had to invest in some classes to learn the new equipment, learn the new software. And had I not have done that, I would be completely lost. It never hurts to invest in yourself. I can't stress that enough. And coaching helps as well. So, and then mistake number 3 to avoid is don't listen to those who aren't on the same path as you. A lot of people are opinionated, and they try to, if you tell them, I want to go into voiceover, or I'm going to go down this path. A lot of people you'll find start coming out of the woodwork saying, and this is friends, family, whoever, and they'll say, don't go down that path. There's no money in it. Or, the market's flooded with people like that. Or, you have to move to LA or whatever. Like, there's a lot of naysayers. It's a good idea to try to extract that type of negativity out of your life and surround yourself by like-minded people. And a lot of people have said this before, and successful people who've written books and who have, podcasts and YouTube channels and stuff. A lot of people say this, and it's true. Surround yourself by like-minded people and don't listen to the negative people, because they'll try to bring you down. So that would be the 3.
I'd like to ask a follow-up on this one. How you extract negative people out of your life?
Well, I mean, family's hard. You can't really extract family out. But I mean, coworkers, friends, like, you don't have to involve them, in your conversation with your business. And you don't have to, I mean, if you post something on social media and they leave a negative comment, extract it out of your feed, like take their comment out or whatever, like just try to kind of mediate the negativity a little bit. Yeah.
Understood. What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Oh man, shortly after I graduated from the broadcast center, I had an opportunity to freelance for a video production company. It was a cable station called The Set, and what they did was they would go and record bands live at different venues, and that was the channel. I was put on a waiting list to be a freelancer for them for a while. Finally, my chance came up, and they called me. The director called me and said, "Hey, I'm trying out a few new freelancers. Your name came up next on the list. Do you want to give it a go?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." I was totally stoked. So I think it was on a weekend, and we all meet up and we load up the van. We go down to the venue. I was amped the whole time, and it was so exciting. And I tried to learn as much as I could. It was a really, really long day. I mean, it was almost a 15-hour long day by the time I got home. So by the end of it, we're back in the van, heading back to the warehouse, and the director asked me, and it was a test. I think I can tell now, but he asked, like, well, what'd you think? And I said, I mean, I was exhausted. I was amped up the whole time, and I mean, I'm just drained at this point because I was up here, and then finally we were done, and I was just like, it was good, not very enthusiastically. And he said, okay. And then I never heard from him again. The mistake I made was not following up, even though I don't blame myself for being, I don't blame myself for not being enthusiastic enough to answer the question because I was exhausted. But I blame myself for not calling him the next day and saying, hey, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for giving me a shot. I would love to do it again. I had a blast. Sorry, I was so exhausted when you asked me last night, And so I learned follow up. If anything, just it doesn't hurt if you're in a business where you have clients and you get a job done with them. Wait a couple weeks, shoot them an email, say, "Hey, I enjoyed working with you. Thanks so much." And even not even asking for the work, but just to remind them, "Hey, I'm here." And that's a good way to get repeat clients. So it's an important lesson I learned.
How did you recover from it?
It took me a while to recover from it, but I allowing myself to accept that there was a mistake and there was something to learn from it. That helped me, kind of push through it. And then honestly, if I hadn't made that mistake of not keeping the lines of communication open, I probably would have learned it in a harder way down the road.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Let's see. Top 3 success secrets. The first one seems kind of obvious, but it's also the hardest, and that's taking the first step. It's for some reason taking that first big step into making your own business in any industry is always so hard because it's the unknown, and there's that fear, that initial fear. You don't know what's going to happen, but if you can recognize the fear and get over it and take that first step, then the second one will come just way easier. The second secret to success, it kind of correlates with the first one, which is get out of your comfort zone. I cannot think of any successful person who has said that by staying in their comfort zone, they got to where they are. I've never heard that said. So it's good to force yourself to be uncomfortable sometimes, and take a chance and see what happens. Because worst case scenario, you learn something from it, and that's part of growth is getting out of your comfort zone. So, and And the third secret to success, follow your passion. That may not necessarily be where all the money is, but if you're happy doing it, the money will follow eventually. Especially in voiceover, there's so many different ways to make money in voiceover. I mean, you have audiobooks, video games, animation, commercial. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But if you're someone who is passionate about commercial work and you don't have a passion for audiobooks, that's going to show through in your performance if you take an audiobook job, you know. So follow your passion, do what makes you happy, and I think that's pretty important to being successful.
Wonderful. We are about to start a lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Mhm.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful to be living in a time where all this technology allows us to start our businesses from the comfort of our own home, especially during a global pandemic.
How young are you?
I am currently 35.
You are 18 years experience. 18 years old, but the rest is all your experience.
And I'm barely scratching the surface.
What you want to do when you grow up?
I would like to get to the point where I can hire an assistant to help with client interaction and set up a schedule for me so I can just wake up in the morning with a schedule and get to work. And I also want to get to the point where I can travel and do this. I want to set up like a booth and a camper and hit the road and see things.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
One slow step at a time. And if that involves stopping and doing some research, looking up a YouTube video or two, then so be it. But just one step at a time and don't get overwhelmed.
How do you start your day?
I start my day with a cup of coffee, first and foremost. And then slowly just wake up and check emails first and I don't know, build up from there.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
Start now. Don't wait. Just do it. Stop overthinking it.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Do all the research first, and that way, if any questions are asked, you can answer them. You know, keep the lines of communication open.
What is the impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
One impactful book is a book called The Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss. This is it here.
Yeah.
Fantastic book. I mean, he interviews a bunch of successful people, ranging from athletes to entrepreneurs and everything in between. And he asks all the same questions. A lot of what kind of habits, do you have, and mistakes that you've made that you've learned, and even stuff like what's the best $100 object that you bought, that has changed your life, in the last like 6 months or whatever. And it's very, very interesting to hear these very successful people give their accounts of what their day-to-day looks like and what they feel makes them successful. And it's some good stuff.
Mhm. Why being impactful is important to you?
I want to be an example. I'm one of those people that didn't start with much, I didn't know anything about starting a business prior. I didn't go to business school. I just learned audio and production work, and I don't just tried it. And now I have my business, and I've been making money do it. I've upgraded my gear with the money that I've made. I've reinvested in myself with the money that I made. And if I want to be an example that if so that others can see me and go, oh, hey, she started off with, the bare minimum, maybe I can too. And I think that'd be great.
I'd like to follow up on this. You said you have started with not much. What does not much mean to you?
I mean, I went to school, and I had to take out a student loan for that. But it wasn't even I didn't even get a degree out of it. The broadcast center gave certifications, and so I had to pay for all of that myself. I didn't get any assistance, so I was at least able to go to school, and was accepted. But after that, I mean, I was in debt, like, I didn't have, I had to pay my student loans, and I have to work, jobs, to pay that off. And then, so I didn't have much going into it. I won't say that I started at rock bottom, because I still had a roof over my head. I still had food on my table,
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
I have a couple. For the technical side of things, recently, I would say Don Barnes, and his son Donnie Barnes. I recently upgraded to Studio One for my editing software, and they have been fantastic. I've bought a few courses from them, and I can message them, and they'll message me right back, and with very detailed answers, and they've been fantastic. But yeah, I mean, there's been various people throughout my life that's I would consider a mentor, even if they don't realize it.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for I don't know, to be that person who took a chance to see what would happen. No previous knowledge of starting a business, didn't go to school for it, and just did it anyway, and became successful at it. To be that example for others, who don't have the experience or the education. Yep, you can do it.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client? An ideal client would be someone who communicates well, willing to negotiate, understanding, and likes to collaborate.
How can we support you?
I have a website, mollymayproduction.wixsite.com/mollymay.
Yeah, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have your few words about today's guest experience on the show. And here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
It's fantastic. I'm honored to be interviewed, and I hope that that whatever I have to say and my current experience can help others out there to grow. And I hope years down the line I can go back and watch this and witness the growth between this interview and then where I become.
What would you say as a final word?
Yeah, anyone who wants to start a business, start now. Just do it. You have so many instruments at your disposal to learn how to do this stuff. We have an infinite amount of knowledge online, and the majority of us have that in the palm of our hands. So utilize it. It's out there for you. Most of it's free. So educate yourself, learn something, spend the time, and get it done.
Thank you so much, Molly, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.